Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 23rd day of July. SEC Media Days are now wrapping up here. Lane Kiffin spoke earlier. Got a lot of talk about that. Speaking of the former Tennessee coach, Gabriel Georges committed to Tennessee in a record-breaking NIL deal for running backs. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Also got Coach Kevin Carroll. Excuse me, folks. My ears have been popping all week. I've got Kevin Carroll coming in, talking about the SEC championship. Also, the University of Tennessee, their commitment, and teams that are on the bubble, playoff contender type of teams. Talk that with him as well. The Mad New Yorker will not be in tonight. He is having traveling issues coming back to New York City, as a lot of you have had issues going to the Northeast. In the Northeast area, we had storms there. So, hey, listen, it's better to be safe than sorry. We don't want any kind of plane crashes or anything like that of that nature. So, listen, thoughts and prayers for everybody. I know they're really, really frustrated with that particular situation. I've been doing some ride share, Uber, whatnot, and a lot of the riders have told me about that as well. A lot of major plane delays and whatnot. So the Mad New Yorker will be back next week. I'll ask him the same questions about with his take on the World Cup, of course, but also get his take on the recruiting issue, not recruiting, but the SEC championship game and everything. Exactly what we'll talk about today with Coach Kevin Carroll, who will be in 30 minutes past the hour. So stand by. We'll take our first and only break. I'll be back here momentarily, and we'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope.
Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program.
Righty then, I'm back here, folks. Oh, by the way, big shout out to Caitlin Clark here. Another 25-10 night. She is on fire right now. And her teammate, Sophia Cunningham, who has publicly came out about men against women in men playing women's sports there. And shame on the media for saying doubles down and all that. So as if this is a big controversial, it's a basic common sense statement. I tell you what, our sports media is just as bad as our political media with taking sides and having certain agendas with their questioning and roundabout. So shame on the Athletic, who I've been giving $71 a year to for their paid subscription for content ideas. It really makes me want to second guess doing that. But that's a different topic. This is a college football show. This particular show, as I told you all, folks, I'm giving about 100 something rides a week in ride share, and I met a Ohio State fan, nice guy, cool. I can't remember his name now. From Long Island, cool dude, great tip there. Picked him up the other day, a few weeks ago, and he was asking me about this recruit here. There's a big recruiting battle for this Gabriel Georges. From this guy is from Quebec, Canada, a 5-star player. He is one of the top players, depending on what site you look at. His low is he's up to I think he's the number 1 running back next year, number 12 overall. Very highly sought after. Ohio State wins these battles, I don't know, 9 out of 10 times, especially against the Tennessee. But Tennessee beats out Ohio State. Georges, he commits to Tennessee yesterday, and there was a big buzz around the college football nation there in the SEC media days. So that's a big boost for University of Tennessee. And he has, and I looked this up. This is the most NIL money a runner back has made in college football. Okay, I looked this up. This is according to Yahoo Sports. I looked this up on Google AI. $6 million across the 3-year commitment contract. I want to say that the total is 3 years, around $2 million per year. Family travels, benefits to attend games. I mean, this is huge here for a big NIL pickup there. A lot of money, $6 million over 3 years. This is really starting to get up in the NFL territory here. Tennessee paid it out. Now, does that guarantee they're going to be a champion? No, you need more and more players like that, obviously, on your team. A few years ago, Nico was really considered to be a big payment guy, for NIL, and he won a little bit more money, and he got half of it and went to UCLA. The coach gets fired. It blew up in Tennessee's face, but it also blew up in his face when he wanted to transfer. So it's not a lock, but this is a very good pickup for Tennessee. They are trending upward since their last 2 losses to Vanderbilt, and of course, I want to say Illinois in the bowl game. If you recall, they have made upgrades. They've signed. They've moved off Tim Banks. They brought in Jim Knowles, the experienced former Ohio State, former Penn State defensive coordinator there, and also they brought in this Owens here. I want to say, let me see if I can find his name. Let me see if I can find his name here. Just a second. But this guy's being paid. He is being paid a lot of money, $1.2 million. Being Derek Owens, $1.2 million, the highest paid strength and conditioning coach in the country in college football here. Brought him over from Indiana. So now they've made an upgrade at the defensive coordinator position. They made an upgrade at they have made an upgrade at strength and conditioning coach. 2 things I thought they needed to get better. They needed to get more physical. They needed to get bigger. They needed to get better defensively. I also said they need to slow their games down and let the defense rest a little bit. I noticed that Josh Heupel is starting to do that now over the last few years, particularly. Okay, so that being said, you know what? Since that story was a big story there, I do not have Tennessee in my air quote SEC championship game, but I do have Tennessee since I've got their information here, and I'll come back to this 30 minutes into the hour. I do have with Coach Kevin Carroll, who will talk the SEC as well. But that being said, now listen. Hold on, I got a notification here. I'm gonna go ahead and check this. But anyways, they are in my bubble team. Okay, bubble team to possibly be a team in the playoff. Okay, now let me dismiss this. Percy Creech Drive to the airport. Go ahead and set that here. I love these little reservations, although they sent me something ridiculous earlier saying I had some kind of strike against me from Uber. That's another story. Okay. I saw them out and they said, nope, that was a miscommunication email. I was like, okay, well, good. Okay, now, Tennessee, since Josh Heupel spoke, since they were in the news with that big running back commitment there from Quebec, Canada. Isn't that weird? But hey, listen, players, you get the players wherever you get the players. Kudos to Josh Heupel for finding him and getting the job done. Like I said, Tennessee, I have them in as a dark horse, possible playoff bubble team. Do not have them in the SEC championship game. the reason I do have that. 4 returning offensive linemen for Tennessee here. New 7 defensive starting level players. Okay, so this is what Phil Steele says. They have 4 returning. Well, let me make sure to get this right. No, 7 players returning there on defense. So they're going to be better defensively. They're going to be better coached defensively. They're going to be better conditioned defensively. They have 4 returning offensive linemen. One of the better offensive lines in the entire conference there. My issue, and very good at receiver there. The problem is they went hard to get Levitt. They wanted to bring Avilar back. Levitt, the player who went, and I'll talk about him later, who went to LSU. They lost out to him to Lane Kiffin and LSU. They wanted to bring Aguilar back. He loses the court appeal against the NCAA to get another year of eligibility. So they got George McIntyre, a guy who's played a few snaps, but he's never really started any games. Let me make sure I got his name correct. George McIntyre, second-year player out of Brentwood area. And, of course, Faison Brandon, the highly sought-after true freshman, folks, true freshman quarterback. So I'm a little sketchy about that. I want to say 7 out of the last 9 years, 7 different quarterbacks. Tennessee has had top 10 offenses the last 7. I mean, so Heupel's really good with these quarterbacks. The problem is you look at the national championship game, you had guys like, Beck from Miami, and, of course, Fernando Mendoza, 3 and 4 year players. So we're in an NIL league where you have experience pays off. That's why I don't have them in the championship game. I have them as a possible. Maybe Brandon takes off there. Maybe one of these guys take off and play well under Heupel. So that is my issue with them. Now, as far as record is concerned for Tennessee, listen, they play teams like Georgia Tech. They do have at Georgia Tech. They could still lose to Georgia Tech was a 9-win team. That's the second game of the season, and they're going in there with a guy, 2 players that's never played quarterback before, meaningful snaps in college football. So they could potentially lose that game. Yeah, they got Texas at home. They've got Auburn at home. But listen, they can even lose to Arkansas. They lost to Arkansas, okay? They lost to Arkansas the last time they played them. Remember, I had my guy, what's his name? My man here that covers Arkansas here, Jason Patterson, covered that game. So could the defense be a whole lot better and the running game be a whole lot better? Yes. Yes, they have a 1,000-yard running back. Could they still possibly win these games? Yes. But they have to – in the past, they have not been good on the road in these big games. They got to play at Vanderbilt, at Texas A&M, at South Carolina with Stellers there. Lenore Stellers is an NFL draft pick player, but I have a take on them as well. So, they could very easily go 8-5 next year, or they could potentially go, 10-3 or something like that, right? Or 10-2 in the regular season, okay? And get lucky, or 3, and get in one of those unanimous teams. You just don't know. They're a dark horse. They're my last of the 5 teams that I had that will possibly make it. Okay, all right. So, all right, let's get down to the nuts and bolts before my man comes in here. SEC championship teams. That's what a lot of you want to know here. I was really stuck between Georgia, Texas all week. I did some studying Monday, did some reading up, listened to Paul Feinbaum interviews all week, did some more studying today, although I had a little bit of a stomach bug. I don't know. I think I may have been drinking too much water on the empty stomach. I don't know. But anyways, I got over it, though. Been studying. Remember, Georgia was 12-2 last season, including they lost a last-second field goal against Ole Miss in the playoffs. They have bolstered their defense with Let me go ahead and get that screenshot here because I know I had a screenshot. Georgia has Let's see, Amarnis Williams, elite defensive end, transfer from Auburn. Cleus Barnes, versatile safety from Clemson. Jency Williams, experienced cornerback. And also, not just in SEC, in all of college football, according to multiple different sites, including CBS and whatnot, they have the best offensive line in football this year. And that, they've got Gunnar Stockton coming back. He's going to be a 4-year player, even though he's not listed as a senior. He's going to be a 4-year player. Their only weakness would be at wide receiver. They got multiple tight ends there. They're going to have much better running game, much better defense. They were pretty good last year, folks. I mean, like I said, they destroyed Texas 35 to 10. Not even a game there. Lost last-second field goal there to Ole Miss in the playoff game. Now, you could say, well, maybe they should have lost to Tennessee in that field goal. That's a different story. But they didn't lose. They won that game. Tennessee missed that field goal with that young kicker. So I have them in the SEC championship game. I have them playing Texas, okay? Now, Phil Steele, the Phil Steele magazine here, I always read, he picked Texas or Georgia to finish above Texas. But a lot of analysts are going to lean Texas here. Listen, Texas, you got Arch Manning. Looked really sharp the last 3 games, including the bowl games. Ran for 2, threw for 2 in their bowl game. Of course, they beat Texas A&M at the very end of the season as well, and a convincing win there. This was all after that 35-3 beatdown by Georgia. But now they've got transfer Cam Coleman from Auburn, 5-star guy. Really, they're going to have, and they got this running back here. They brought in Hollywood Smoothers. Keep that name in mind for Texas here. So they're going to have one of the more explosive offenses in the entire country. The offensive line was inexperienced last year. Now they are experienced. Okay, I got all those guys back. They're going to be clicking on all 8. And here's the big one. They brought in Will Muschamp here. They've had a good linebacker there transfer as well. Will Muschamp, former defensive coordinator. All his defenses, whether it be LSU, Auburn, as a coordinator, they've all either been from 1 to 10. They have not been out of the top 10. Like I said, they're going to have one of the best offenses in the entire country here in Texas. My only issue with Texas is they have the hardest schedule. Phil Steele, number 1 toughest schedule in the entire country here. They got Ohio State week 2, but it's in Texas. I actually think they're going to win that game against Ohio State because it's in Austin. They have to play on the road at Tennessee, and then they get the Red River rivalry. They have the bye week. They always seem to have that bye week against Oklahoma. That'll be played in Dallas. Florida after that. Ole Miss after that. We don't know what Florida's going to be. Florida's got a new coach. They could be overlooking Florida. Florida beat them last year, folks. As bad as Florida was, they beat Texas last year. You got to keep that in mind, okay? They got to play at Missouri. This is one of the better Missouri teams from what I'm seeing and reading. They're going to have a much better offensive line as well. They got to play at LSU, Alabama, and then at Texas A&M at the very end of the season. That being said, I still say they're going to get through all that big bolster schedule. They're going to win a lot of tiebreakers. They're going to have 2 losses, and they're going to play they're going to play Georgia in the SEC championship game. I know that's not a hot take, right? They're going to play Georgia in the SEC championship game. I do think Georgia's going to win that game and go back into the playoff again. I just like Georgia's team overall. I do not think Muschamp is going to get – now, he could. I don't think the personnel's quite there yet for him to lift them above him. And I think Sarkisian could possibly get fired. Could possibly get fired. It depends on how these particular games. You don't want any more 35 to 10 blowouts with the amount of money that Texas is spending on just their overall budget and everything. So, but I do have Texas in the SEC championship game getting beaten by Georgia. I know that's not a really hot take, but listen, I got to call balls and strikes. I don't like to say hot takes just to say hot takes, right? Okay. That being said, okay, here are my teams that are in here. They are either I'm going to pick them to go to the playoff or they're in the bubble to get into the playoff. They're in this really tough SEC conference here. So just give me a chance here, folks, and we will and we'll talk a little bit more about it as well. Okay, teams in the playoff bubble that could get in there. Also, if they're in the playoff bubble, folks, they could get into the championship game. Remember, this is a big conference now, so this is important. Okay, Oklahoma. Love Oklahoma's defense. Probably the best defensive mind in the conference, maybe in the country. Brett Venables there. The way they play, the problem, and they got John Mateer back fully healthy, no hand issues with John Mateer at the quarterback position. Here's my issue. We saw the Alabama collapse. No running game. The problem with Mateer is the problem with Venables, same offensive coordinator that I have is there's no creativity in that offense on third down. It's John Mateer, make up something, make up a play here, and make up a play, and we'll see what happens. Okay. I say that they are a bubble team because, listen, their schedule is also very hard, too. They got to play at Michigan week 2, guys. Michigan's going to be much better coached this year. I think Bryce Underwood is going to have that second year under his belt. They may lose that game. I'm picking them to beat Michigan, folks, but they're actually underdogs. The last I checked, now this could change, they're going to be slight underdogs at Ann Arbor, up there in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Remember, they got the former Utah coach here. So they got to play at Michigan. They got to play at Georgia, okay? They're playing Texas. They don't match up necessarily well against Texas. Texas smoked them last year in the Red River rivalry. They play that game as well. They got to play Ole Miss, Texas A&M. They got to play at Florida, South Carolina. I mentioned the talent there. That's a gauntlet of a schedule. Ranked 5 toughest schedule in the country. Not as hard as Texas, but it's still a very rough schedule with a non-creative offensive coordinator there. No creativity from an offensive standpoint. That being said, listen, they got a lot of players back on offense. Maybe the running game's better. 6 returning from last year, 3 starter-level players that transfer. So you got 9 starter-level players on your team, according to Phil Steele, and 7 there on the defense. So they could win the SEC. I got them as a playoff bubble team. They're my number 1 playoff bubble team coming into this season. The reason why I have some faith in them, maybe Mateer just worked better, worked on this stuff in the offseason. He put the work in. So they're my top bubble team to get into the playoffs coming into this year. Okay, number 2. LSU. Listen, LSU spent a lot of money last year. They've had quite a few transfers here, including this quarterback. Lane Kiffin does a lot. I mean, listen, people don't like Lane Kiffin. I didn't think his SEC media day was that much of a blunder as I thought it may be, although the media may say it is. It wasn't too bad. I like the fact that Lane Kiffin today said that he got rid of all the social media apps. I thought that was really cool. Okay, now, LSU. I think LSU is going to find a way in, okay? I had Oklahoma number 1 possible sleeper to get in there. I have more faith in LSU to get into the playoff. They're just not – they're going to lose some kind of tiebreaker to Texas, and they're going to end up not quite getting into the air quote SEC championship game. But I do think they will get into the playoff here. 7-6 last year, lost some close games. They were blown out in other games. I think the players started reading about the possible Brian Kelly firing or whatever, him being on the hot seat and whatnot. But listen, there was a dogfight to get Sam Leavitt at quarterback there with Tennessee and everybody else. Lane Kiffin closes the deal. He brings in Sam Leavitt. I mean, they have starter level players according to Phil Steele's magazine, 9 on offense, 6 on defense. So they're going to be competitive. It's a lot of transfers here. They do got to play Clemson week 1. So if they lose that Clemson game, I mean, all bets could be off. Don't get me wrong, because they still have to play this gauntlet and then in the SEC. Remember, they have 9 SEC games plus Clemson this year. pretty tough schedule. That's why I don't, air quote, have them in the SEC championship game, but I think they're going to find a way. They got to play at Ole Miss. They might lose that one. That could be a big emotional game for Ole Miss, but they got A&M at home. They got Alabama at home, Texas at home, at Tennessee. But Tennessee, I mentioned the young quarterback play there. At Arkansas, the end of season. At Auburn. We don't know what Auburn's got this year. So I think that they can find a way to get through there with 2 or 3 losses and have a nice little a few wins. They could upset Texas. Who knows? They could very well upset Texas at home there. Okay? So he's going to pump some confidence in this team. They're a bubble team. I think they'll probably get in. We'll see what happens. All right, number 3, Texas A&M. A lot of players coming back from A&M. You said, well, why didn't you put them in the championship game? Listen, another team won a lot of 3 club. What did I put down here? Yeah. Marcel Reed at quarterback, 18 starters coming back total, whether it's going to be a starter on another team or starter there. I say that on another team because of the transfer portal guys. Like I said, they won 3 one-score games last year, but Marcel Reed did struggle, folks. He did struggle in the Texas game, and he really struggled in their playoff game against Miami. We saw that. Does he continue to struggle this year? They have a lot of good players coming back. We know the amount of money that Texas A&M has spent, but they are a bubble team because they were in the playoff last year. And geez, I think they only had 2 losses last year. Go back to their page here. 68. I'm going in the wrong direction here. Make sure I didn't leave any notes out here. But so, it's a tough conference. I mean, you say, well, a lot of these teams are on. I mean, well, it is what it is. I mean, it's a very tough conference. It's a lot of money being spent. Mike Elko, like I said, 11-2 last year. They got all these players coming back. But, hey, listen, they got to play. They're at LSU, at Missouri, at Alabama, at South Carolina, at Oklahoma, Texas the very next week, Tennessee before that, at South Carolina. Remember, South Carolina had a beat last year. Remember, they had this huge league at halftime. They came back and won at the very end. So I don't know if they're going to win those games like that this year. But they have so many players coming back, I got to keep them in the bubble. So that's 3 teams right there in the bubble there. Number 4 that's in the SEC playoff bubble would obviously be Ole Miss. And I'm trying to get to my notes here because I know my man's going to come up here in just a little bit. 10 starters coming back, including 6-level starter transfers. The big one, obviously, Trinidad Chambliss coming back. He won the big court battle there. Let me make sure my man got my thing here. Yeah, he did get my stuff here. Okay. Coach Kevin Carroll. All right. Now, Trinidad Chambliss, with his experience, I mean, they were 1 play away from getting into the national championship. They were a very tight game here. What a bad call for getting the national championship game last year. My issue is Charlie Weiss Jr., folks, the offensive coordinator, went over with Lane Kiffin to LSU. And now I'm just not sure about the head coach there. My thing is Chambliss did a lot of free willing last year, went a lot off script. I do think that he's going to fall off a little bit as the season goes along. Once you start getting October, November, I think that Lane Kiffin magic is going to wear off. He's going to take a step back. They're going to lose some close games, okay? That's unfortunate. I like Chambliss. I hope the best for him. The fact that they've got so many players coming back, the fact that they played so well last year, they're in my bubble. They're one of those teams that are in that bubble, but they're not in the SEC championship game. They're number 4 on my bubble team. And I've already mentioned the University of Tennessee. So, Coach, if you've heard that, come on in. I haven't seen you backstage yet. I hope that you came through. I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. Now, like I said, teams that I have no faith in. You mentioned that. Yeah, I bet you're thinking, well, what about Alabama? They had Keelan DeBoer had a big contract extension in the off season. Alabama has has a good recruiting class. Alabama has a good recruiting class. Listen, one of the writers used the term "four lost the board" there when he was on the Paul Feinbaum show. They can't run the football. They have a true freshman quarterback. I don't think they're going to be one of those teams that's going to make it. That's my issue. I actually think he'll get fired with Shane Beamer, the coach from South Carolina. He's a nepotism. He's a good guy. He's a good guy, coach, but he's a nepotism hire. Shane Beamer from South Carolina. I do think that he'll probably get clipped. Got a great quarterback at Lenore Sellers there, but I think he'll probably get clipped. And listen, these other coaches, Kentucky, Auburn, Florida, Arkansas, all new coaches here. Not a lot of buzz on transfer portal here. Even Florida, they actually, I like John Summerall and everything, but he did have a player in Lagway who transferred to Baylor. So on that note, I want to bring in my man, Coach Kevin Carroll, here to talk about all this. Here, hold on. Crowd tonight, Coach. Big crowd tonight. I wanted to ask you about this story. This has been a buzz all week. I'm not being hyperbolic on the program. I've been driving a lot of Uber ride share here. Picked up a big Ohio State fan about 5 weeks ago. A guy had the Ohio State gear on, older guy, goes to the games from Long Island, but he's a big Ohio State fan. He was asking me about this guy, David Gabriel, Georgia. So he's a 5-star quarterback out of Quebec, Canada. What I read today, a record NIL deal for running backs. Tennessee wins them over. What's your thought about that beating out Ohio State, Coach?
Oh, that's pretty big. They gave them Tennessee, they pushed really hard to get this kid, this young man. And, you see high school athletes, and sometimes like this guy is different. And he's one of those guys. He's just different. If I had a comparison, he weighs 220, 225. And he's like a Derrick Henry type as far as power goes, but then he adds a versatility to that. He's probably a little more agile, has a little bit more agility than Derrick Henry, and he is probably faster than Derrick Henry, which that's hard to say because Derrick Henry at top end speed when he's in his prime is different than Derrick Henry now. But at the same time, he's fast. No, he is faster than Derrick Henry because he ran a 4.340. So he that's a fact. That's not he might be. No, he actually is. Derrick Henry ran a fast 40. I think Derrick Henry was like in the 4.4 range or something like that. But yeah, this kid ran a 4.37, 4.38, somewhere in that neighborhood. So we're talking elite speed, elite power. He's got everything you need, barring injury. He is going to be a very good college running back. And possibly, as long as he don't get hurt, he's going to have a good NFL career, have a chance to have a good NFL career. So,
oh my God, dude, this is huge
hit for Tennessee. But at the same time, I always go back. It's a lean to Tennessee. Now, I don't think he's going anywhere because I think they put a lot of work into it. He's got his deal in place. But I think that he will end up signing. But I don't like getting too excited until
that actually happens.
Paper. So, but hey, if they hold on to this guy, that is huge. That is a huge signing for the Vols in their offense.
Yeah, this is what I got from Yahoo Sports. $6 million total for a 3-year commitment. $2 million for his freshman season. I want to say that family travel benefits to attend games.
That was big because they got to come from Canada. That was a big part of it right there.
Yeah. So this is a very big pickup. I had Tennessee. If you want to talk about their schedule, I have them as a air quote bubble team to get in the playoff. I do not have them in the championship game. they're my last air quote bubble team to possibly get into the playoff as of being like a dark horse because of their offensive line coming back, because of Jim Knowles, because of this guy, Derek Owens. That's the strength and conditioning at 1.2 million. Tennessee's really, they've won me over in the offseason. That's what we said Aguilar back. You know what I'm saying?
They've made some really good moves, smart moves. And they're trying different things. I mean, they're not just, doing the same thing. They're trying to like attack those areas where they had issues in, and they're trying to be better, which is good. I mean, and if they stay healthy, they have a decent shot. Because granted, it's a young quarterback that's going to be starting.
Yeah, there's no experience at quarterback between.
Yeah. Remember, I told you.
That's what I want to ask you about. Yeah,
I told you last year. I said Faison Brandon will beat McIntyre out. I felt like he had the talent to do it. And the best thing about Faison Brandon is up here. I mean, he's got it upstairs. He's a smart kid. He's good under pressure. And I mean, he's the kind of guy that can come in and really be a difference maker. Now, he needs help being young, especially his first few games, because I'm glad he's got like what 4 games before Texas. That's a big deal. He get some experience.
Well, Georgia Tech, I told the audience they could lose it. Georgia Tech won 9 games last year.
Yeah, they could lose that game. They could. They really could. But I don't think they're going to. I think they're more talented than Georgia Tech. Yeah. And the plus side is even though Faison Brandon's young, he has got a really good supporting cast around him. Yeah. I mean, he's got a good offensive line. He's got really good receivers, and trust me, when you see Tristan Keys, he's going to be that dude. He's not even the dude right now because he hadn't played anything in college, and I project him to be better than Staley and Mike Matthews, and the 3 of them together, that's gonna form a pretty good little receiving tandem right there. I mean, they're going to be pretty good, and like I said, I think he's got a good supporting cast around him. The only question I got on the Vols right now, I think they've got good pieces on defense. I don't think they're as bad on the interior defensive line as some people think. I think they're going to be okay. My only issue is, are we going to find that edge guy that's going to be able to, cause havoc in the backfield, get to the quarterback? If they can come up with that piece, I believe they can get into the playoffs. I don't think it's a stretch for them to get in. And by that time, Brandon will be a different player than what he is, once the season started. So, I mean, I'm not getting my hopes up, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they do sneak into the playoffs there at the end. So.
And that's what I had. And they very well could lose 4 or 5 games because of that inexperience. We saw the struggles Nico went through his first year as a starter. But I'm like you, the more I think about this, I kind of want Brandon Faison to win this job, get this out now, and then next year they'll have another year under Jim. One analyst said that Jim Knowles' defense, it takes about 2 years for the players to really grasp it. Right. So you'll have that, and you'll have another year with this strength and conditioning coach. Maybe 27 could be Tennessee's real year to make a run. What do you think about that?
I think so too. You should have a Gabriel George there, as well. So that's a huge add. And the thing about the defense, them catching on, taking a couple years, they've got a handful of guys who are already playing his defense, so who come from Penn State with him. So that's a big deal. You got I think one guy on each level. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, nice. I know they lost that pass rusher, but he had a medical concern. Yeah.
I think they got another defensive lineman, too, that came as well. And they got a linebacker, and I want to say a safety. I'm not 100% on that, but I think they did. So they had a handful of kids or young men from Penn State come to Tennessee that were on that defense. So that's going to help as far as, grasping the defense. You got guys on each level that understand what's going on. So,
yeah. Yeah. Now, I know it's July. We had the SEC Media Days this week. A lot of stuff can change because the camps haven't really started. Players get injured. but who would you have in the SEC championship game if you had to pick it today there, Coach?
They're doing all right, let me get this correct. They're going to the seeds now, right? It's not East, West, or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Whoever's got the best record versus tiebreakers, another best record.
Okay.
Yeah.
You told me to come up with a dark horse, and you know what?
Yeah.
My dark horse is in the SEC championship. Yeah, I think people are just completely glossing over this, but I believe Lane Kiffin is going to have LSU smoking
in the championship game.
I think they're going. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. I think they're going to the. They're going to compete for. I'm not saying they're making it to the national championship, but they're going to compete for it. They're going to be in the mix. I feel like the athletes they got, the fact that he's brought Sam Levitt in to play quarterback, an experienced guy who's already got experience in the playoffs.
Yeah, play for Arizona State. Yeah.
Yes, and they got other transfers that are very good players. They got a good offensive lineman. Man, I tell you what, they qualify as a dark horse only because of how they finished last season.
Yeah.
I don't think last season has anything to do with this season. In my eyes, they're not a dark horse. The only thing that qualifies it is the fact that they faltered last year. I think this year is completely different. I think they're going to be one of the best teams in the SEC. And as far as who they would play, I'm going to say it's a toss-up for me between Texas and Georgia. I'm not 100% on it, because I believe they both have experienced quarterbacks now. So it's hard to really pick one or the other. But Texas, to me, they've been underwhelming considering the talent they have. So even though they're more talented than other teams, I'm not 100% that they consistently get it done every single week. They lose maybe one that they shouldn't lose, or two they shouldn't lose, and so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them. Georgia, I don't know what their schedule is off the top of my head. So.
Oh, I can give it to you, Coach. Here, I got you, man. I got the Phil Steele magazine right in front of me. I just had to find their page here, page 50.
And I know Texas has a tough schedule, so
number one schedule. I'm gonna make an argument for Texas here in a minute, but I'll find Georgia's schedule real quick. I picked Georgia and Texas. That I know that's vanilla, but sometimes, hey, listen, I go with what I actually think is going to happen. I don't like to be contrarian.
Right.
I hate to be those hot take guys that just say crazy stuff just to say crazy stuff,
Yeah.
Sometimes I do say crazy stuff, but it's crazy stuff I actually believe.
Right.
So Georgia, they got the number 18th ranked schedule in the country.
Yeah.
They play Tennessee State, Western Kentucky, 2 easy games at Arkansas. That's 3 somewhat cupcakes. And then they got Oklahoma at home, Vanderbilt at home, at Alabama. They've always struggled with Alabama for whatever reason. And they got a bye week. They play Florida. And the Florida game, they always play Florida like that. At Ole Miss, Missouri at home. Missouri's much better than people will give them credit for this year. At South Carolina, then Georgia Tech. So I really like that schedule, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the only one that really I would be worried about would be at Alabama, just because they've had issues with that. Yeah, Ole Miss too, but just because they've had issues with Alabama.
Yeah.
But I don't have Alabama real high this year. I believe they can beat Alabama. Alabama's going to have a new quarterback.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
at the freshman as well.
Still not sold on DeBoer, honestly. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a good coach. He just he's not Saban, which that wasn't going to happen anyway. But
it's hard to follow.
I believe they've got Ole Miss. I believe they get Ole Miss this time, just considering what happened in the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
they're not going to let Ole Miss beat them this time.
Don't you think the Lane Kiffin magic will wear off on Trinidad Chambliss by the time they play Ole Miss November 7th?
No, by that time they're going to be clicking on all cylinders. They're going to be good.
Georgia will be good or Ole Miss?
LSU.
Oh,
I feel like
LSU. I'm
LSU
talking
will.
about Ole Miss, Coach. I'm sorry.
Oh, you mean Ole Miss and Georgia?
In Georgia, yeah. Don't you think that
Oh,
Chambliss?
they're going to be up for that game, man. They're going to
Yeah,
be
they'll
up.
be up for the LSU game, the Georgia game. I'm saying my knock on Ole Miss is Chambliss's play will deteriorate as the season goes along.
Okay. I thought you were talking about
You see what I'm saying?
Georgia running out of steam by the time they played Ole Miss. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Or Ole Miss running out of steam because because Lane Kiffin's absence, Coach. You see what I'm saying?
okay, I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be a bad team this year. I think they're going to drop. They're going to drop too many games to me. I think they'll probably drop one game or 2 games too many to make the playoffs. So it's you just look at their schedule and you just pick it. You pick who they're going to lose to. I don't see them making a big run like they did last year. Like I said, they won't be horrible, but they're not gonna make that same kind of run. Chambliss is the kind of player. He can win any game that you play. I mean, he gives you a chance to win any game you play. Then at the same time, he can lose the game for you as well. But
Yeah.
I just don't think the team's going to be as good overall as they were last year. So
same here. Here, let me play a little devil's advocate. Let me play the argument for Texas here. Okay. They've got this Cam Coleman transfer, big time 5-star guy from Auburn, came over with Arch Manning. They've also got this running back, Hollywood Smothers from NC State, big time transfer. Here's the big one. Will Muschamp's defenses as a defensive coordinator, they got a new defensive coordinator, have been in the top 10 every single defense that he has coached. Some of them have been number 1 or number 2. I don't think they'll be that good, but can you possibly see them being by the way, all those offensive linemen that did not have experience last year will have experience at Texas this year. Yeah. So the defense could be much better, may have one of the better offenses in the country led by Arch Manning, and you've got the upgrade there at coordinator there, Coach. Do you possibly see it just coming together for Texas, man?
It could. I mean, like I said, they've been on the radar the last few years, and they haven't quite got it done. So that's the only thing that I don't question their talent. I know they've had talent the last few years. They're going to have talent this year as well. So, I think that could be it, though. I mean, Muschamp he's a good defensive coordinator. He always gets it done. So, we'll see. So really looking forward to it. But
I do think they got Ohio State in week 2. I think they'll knock out Ohio State at home. But
is that game? Is that Labor Day weekend?
That's the day after Labor Day. The second week.
Okay, so it's the week after Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish it was Labor Day weekend like last year.
I don't even know what the lineup for Labor Day is, but they always
Clemson's playing LSU.
Okay, that's a good one. They always have a good lineup that week. I mean, so I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah. I mean, check out this schedule for Texas, though. Number 1, most difficult. I mentioned they got Ohio State, but it's at home. They play at Tennessee a few weeks later. They got the normal Oklahoma game. They play Florida. They're a wild card team. But Florida beat them last year.
Yeah.
They got Ole Miss the very next week, Coach. They got to play at Missouri, at LSU, at Texas A&M, the very last game of the season, Friday game. That's that Friday after Thanksgiving at A&M. That's a gauntlet of a schedule, man.
Oh, yeah, they got a tough schedule. That's tough. They're going to have a hard time.
If they could beat at Ohio State and maybe just lose 2 SEC games,
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why I might be leaning Georgia a little bit to get into the SEC title game because Texas is just going to have
Georgia over at Texas, by the way.
They're going to have a hard schedule, and even if they only drop 2 and make it to the playoffs, they'll have a legitimate shot to make a run in the playoffs. So I almost think it's better to not play in the SEC championship and go to the playoffs than it is to play in it and go. I mean, So I mean, they'll have that break if they don't make it, which they might not. They'll be a really good team and then still not make the SEC championship. There's going to be good teams in the SEC that don't make it. So
Yeah, and that's what I have a bubble team as Texas A&M. I think they won too many close games last year. Marcel Reed struggled the last
yeah,
games. They're a bubble team. I don't think they're going to get in the championship game, though. What do you think about A&M this year? About the same?
I think A&M, they got an outside shot to get in, and honestly, it could come down to Tennessee and A&M to get that, be that last SEC team to get in the
Maybe that
championship,
last 12
to get into a playoff. So I mean, it could come down to that because Tennessee Heupel hadn't lost to Alabama at home. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And Alabama's going to be a new team this year, and although still talented, the gap has been closed to the rest of the SEC. I mean, if I had to say the most talented team in the SEC, I would say Georgia, probably followed by Texas, and then I think LSU would those would be the top three in my mind. So then Alabama would maybe Alabama. Tennessee's catching up fast though. Tennessee's recruiting is pretty good. Plus transfers. Transfers honestly seems to be more important now than recruiting.
Right. Yeah, this Phil Steele, which I love his magazine, he's actually changed his returning starters section to players that are transfers, that are starters on other teams, and he adds them in as returning starters, which I think that makes sense,
Yeah, it does. It does because it has a bigger effect from year to year now than recruiting does, and I mean that's just a fact. So, it's probably smarter to get you a good quarterback through the transfer portal than it is to recruit one. So, the fact we lucked out with Brandon and now we have 2 5-stars competing for a starting spot, which is good because whoever wins it, the other one's probably going to transfer, and somebody will have a good chance to get them a good quarterback out of the transfer portal because I think both of these guys can be good. They just both won't be good with Tennessee. One of them will probably be good with somebody else. Which that's fair. I mean, that's the game we play today. So
that is true. It's a lot to deal with, but I like it. I mentioned Oklahoma. A lot of players coming back, but my big take, coaches, on Oklahoma is they don't have enough creativity offensively. It's John Mateer, make it convert third down. I don't think that's going to happen. But I still have them as a bubble team per se. What do you think about Oklahoma this year?
Did they hire another offensive coordinator?
No, they didn't. They kept the same guy.
Yeah. So see that's
Dog even agrees with that.
Yeah, she agrees. That's the thing. It's just you got to do different things. Like the offense had all season, and I mean they could be falling back on Mateer was injured part of the year and he never was 100% even in the playoffs, and they did win a playoff game and they lost in the second round. So I mean they could say maybe we just need to stay healthy. That might be the standpoint they're coming.
No, remember they blew that big lead to Alabama. Remember that?
Yeah. I was getting excited. I didn't want Alabama to keep playing. So
I didn't either because I picked Oklahoma to win that game.
Right. I wanted them to, but the back of my head, I was sitting here like Alabama's probably going to get them. I didn't want them to do it, but I had a feeling they might. And even when Oklahoma jumped ahead, I was like, it's probably going to not last. But
so you're like, you think that's too, but the offense is way too vanilla.
Yeah, it is. They need more. They need more creativity. They need to do more things. They need more guys getting involved other than Mateer. That's why he got hurt. They're relying on him way too much. They need other guys to step up, and they need running backs. A good running back to come in. They need their, of course, their receivers to make plays, and and I know part of the receivers were hurt. They had some receivers injured too. So, I don't know. We'll have to see what they do this year. Maybe they'll come up. They'll have some wrinkles. They'll throw some wrinkles in there and do some stuff. I mean, they didn't need them.
We know the defense will be strong. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have a good defense. They'll still be good on defense.
Do you? My prediction was I think that DeBoer, even though he got a contract extension, they got a pretty good class coming in. I think the fans are going to want him. I think he'll get fired this year. I think there's going to be an outrage, and they're going to overreact. They're going to fire him. What's your thoughts about DeBoer in Alabama?
That wouldn't surprise me at all, honestly. If they miss the playoffs, number one, because I think they're going to lose 3 games. I think that's the number in my mind that they're going to lose.
Yeah.
And then they could drop one. Like once they realize they're not going to the playoffs, they might drop another one. If they lose 4 games, he might not make it out of the season. I mean, that's just how Alabama is. I mean, they're about business. I've never liked Alabama because I'm a Tennessee fan, but I have to respect their program. They're about winning. I mean, so if they think having him around isn't progress towards them winning, then he'll be gone. That's just the way it is.
Do you think? I also think that what's his name, Shane Beamer, the son of Frank Beamer, is going to get fired from South Carolina. He's got Lenore Sellers. They were 4-8 last year. Kind of a nepotism hire. Nice guy, but I think nepotism hire.
Yeah, Sellers was a big disappointment last year. So the consistency comes into credit, so it comes into question. So we gotta wonder if maybe that 1 year was like a just a 1 year wonder sort of deal. So he's going to have pressure on him this year. So he's either going to have to put up or shut up. I mean, that's how it is. And I don't think South Carolina's going to be much better than they were last year. I mean, seriously, I just don't.
I know. You're like me, man.
It's just tough. It's a tough conference to keep. What do they call it? A pressure cooker. I mean, it's just tough to stay consistent in the SEC. So, yeah, I feel like him being fired, that wouldn't surprise me one bit either. It's just it's just the nature of the beast.
Do you have any other thoughts on these new coaches? Any other predictions or any other firings or whatnot that you think that may happen this year in this conference? It's a wild conference, ain't it?
It is. It's what makes it so fun, though.
I love it. I can't wait.
Yeah. I can't wait for football to start. Especially SEC and Labor Day weekend. All those big games coming on.
Do you take that whole Saturday off?
Oh yeah, I I put in vacation. I've already got my vacation in for the Friday before Labor Day. I mean, I'm going to a high school game that night, and then I'm watching college football all day on Saturday and Sunday, and probably watch that game Monday. There'll be a game Monday night as well. I don't know if you're aware of it. Ole Miss and Louisville are playing in Nashville.
Yes.
So yeah. I'm not going, but I mean that's not a bad game to start off the season. So
well, look at the coach for Louisville. He's a great. What's it, Jeff Brom?
Yeah.
They can knock out Ole Miss right off the bat.
Yeah, that's a fun game to start the season off. I mean,
we're probably closer to Louisville than we are to Ole Miss here in Nashville.
Right. I think that game is Labor Day weekend.
It is. It is actually.
Yeah. So that's one of them. I mean,
I got them in the ACC championship game playing Miami.
Right. Yeah, Miami got that quarterback from, was it Oregon State or?
Yeah, they got a big time transfer quarterback there.
Yeah, I thought he was from Oregon State. I could be wrong, but
hey, remember they got one from Washington a few years ago, and it turned out to be Cam Ward.
Yep, Cam Ward. Yep.
Yeah. They were one of the better teams in the transfer portal. I remember reading that about Miami. Do you think Bill Belichick do you think he'll make a bowl game? I think he'll make a bowl game this year.
I mean,
it's only 6 games. But
all you got to do to make a bowl game is fall off the toilet. So, yeah, he might get into one. But, I mean, I still don't think they're going to be any good.
They're not going to be a championship team. But
they're going to be pretty bad, I think. They might get lucky and get in a bowl game. It depends on how many of the little no-names they scheduled, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if the college game is his forte or not. I don't want to set it in stone because you can't judge him after one season. He had a very bad team. I mean, it's just, he didn't have a lot of talent. And apparently they did get some transfers and stuff. And I don't know if you've seen that meme that the kid from Tennessee the kid that was trying to pick between Tennessee and North Carolina, and he picked North Carolina, and somebody said, how does he watch them play and say, yeah, I want to go be part of that? I mean, so, I mean.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I just wonder, I said Dabo will survive this year, but I think he could possibly be on the hot seat in 27.
Yeah, Dabo could be a candidate for Alabama. I mean,
that's interesting.
He's an alumni.
That could save him from getting ran out of Clemson.
He's an alumni, so I mean, that's where he played college ball, and
that's food for thought, man.
A few years ago, when Clemson was on top, I wouldn't have said that he would leave because he's got his own good thing going. But now that it's kind of the steam has come off a little bit, maybe he'd be willing. And he's an established coach, and he'll have a lot more talent at Alabama than he did at Clemson. So that's potential. That's a potential. He's one of the ones I thought might have gone there after Saban left. So
interesting. And his buyout's nothing now. It's nothing. Those years have expired. Coach Kevin Carroll, man. Wow. Anything else you need to add, buddy, before we get off here?
No, man, I'm good. I enjoyed it, dude.
All right, appreciate it. Hey, I'll see you come season time. We'll be talking Vols football and, of course, the SEC in college as well. Thanks again, buddy.
Great. Have a good one.
Appreciate you. All right, everybody. I'll be back here next week. Obviously be back Monday. Talk about it on the program. Hey, thank you, everybody. I love you all coming on. Thank you, Second Discovery. Thank you, Kathy. It's been a great show. Good participation here. Good audience here, folks. If you like the show, share the show. If you have not subscribed to at The Real Sports Scope YouTube, please do so. Want to get those specific numbers up, though. Have a good week, everybody. I'll see you then here on The Real Sports Scope.